I mean, this is a difficult time, I realize that. I know Governor made a commitment, contractual commitment. Simply my question was, if the General Assembly accepts the veto of $376 million, is the plan to keep all of these facilities that are proposed open?
Well, it would take two actions from the General Assembly. The vetoes would have to be sustained, but then there would also have to be reallocations of that money through an appropriation, which would require, as I said to Senator Lutterville the other day, a lot of green buttons to be pushed in the General Assembly, namely 71 in the House and 36 in the Senate. Because as long as the appropriations are insufficient, you can't spend the money. And so the governor is faced with this very difficult decision that if we analyze the head count and the attrition in these departments, especially these departments that are largely personnel, and you know from that analysis that unless you do something, you can't get through the year. You know, then you face this question of, do you take actions to live within the budget and implement the budget now? Or do you kind of play chicken and go, oh, I guess we'll reach a point where we can't meet the payroll? And the governor has decided not to play chicken and say, oh, maybe we can't meet the payroll next March or April or May. He's decided to implement the budget, and he thinks that's his constitutional duty once the General Assembly is acted and a final action is taken. So he's open to that, but it takes that second action, and that's why we want to have a further discussion.
So let me get to this point of the question. The governor signed a contract with the largest bargaining unit in the state that would have amounted to 8.1% of our 14-month period of time, somewhere around 16 months, something like that. The General Assembly zeroed that out of the budget, correct? Are these closures a result of him needing to obtain the money to meet the pay raises that he negotiated in October of last year? Or is this just a result of trying to, you know, reduce the, because the General Assembly didn't say we're going to close any facilities. The General Assembly said we're not going to go along with an 8.1% pay raise. So I guess, are we closing these facilities to try to get the money to implement the pay raise? Or, you know, are we just having a plan to close some facilities that aren't performing well?
Representative, our analysis is the budget is not adequate to do either currently. But I do want to clarify, this contract we're talking about, this labor contract was negotiated in 2008, before Pat Flynn was governor. And it's a 4-year contract. There's since been a reform of that the General Assembly passed and the governor signed that says no governor in the future can commit a governor beyond his term more than the end of the fiscal year, which we think is an important reform. But those changes in 2008 were designed to also save money, and there was a further negotiation that Governor Pat Quinn agreed to with AFSCME to save money, and AFSCME asked for this layoff facility closure guarantee, which was agreed to. That certainly is correct. We're now faced with a situation where the governor has attempted to implement that, and you know the General Assembly is not appropriated enough to do it. I don't know how else to say that. But the purposes of a reallocation will have to be spelled out. We've laid out in our working groups yesterday, and we handed out some of the documents to be in the official record of this committee this morning. We've handed out alternatives that solve all the problems. You know, we can calculate that $310 million will solve all these closure problems and provide raises, all the raises provided in the contract. And $310 million is within the $376 million of the veto. So it's certainly possible, and the governor is open to that kind of resolution. But he can't do it unilaterally. Just if the vetoes are sustained, he can't then unilaterally spend money that's not appropriated. So we have that second step. It's a point I'm maybe being repetitive and trying to make, but I think it takes us all to solve this, is what I'm saying.
I'm not in disagreement.